Okay? Kakadosh Boker we're starting the new Perek Lametet Amud Aleph, 39A1, the Mishnah Perek Revi'i, the fourth chapter. It says in the Mishnah, Taraf Bekalpi. So what happened was he quickly comes and he takes the lottery, right? Remember, there's a concept of lottery. You had two pieces of paper inside, one for Lashem, one for Lazazel. He quickly takes it. Ve'lashne goralot, and he comes and he does two goralot, one on his right hand, one is in his left hand. Echad katuv lav Lashem, one of them is written Lashem, ve'echad katuv lav La'azazel, one of them is written La'azazel. Hasegan bimino, the segan is on his right side, the vice, right? The vice Kohen Gadol. Ve'rosh bet av mismolo, and the rosh bet av is going to be on his left. If right now the Shem came on his right hand, meaning the one of the Lashem, so then he says, pick up your right hand. But if right now went on his left hand, pick up your left hand. He puts on the two Seidim, and he says to Hashem Chatat, which means when he's going to put the Goral of the Shem on the Rosh HaSeid, he says La Hashem Chatat. And Ishmael Omer lo yetzarich lomar Chatat, ela La Hashem. He only said La Hashem. He didn't have to say Chatat. La Hashem. Vehen onin al Charav, and the answer after him, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Gemara says, Lama li taraf bekalpi? Why do we need the Goral? In order that he shouldn't use it, right? The basically, why did he have to like grab it, right? Why did he have to like take it and not slowly? So he says, but they didn't want him to trick. You understand? You have to remember there was a certain thing that, it was a good sign if it came up on his right hand. So imagine right now the Kohen Gadol would he's looking and he's trying to see which one is written the right number so that way he could take it. So not you have to grab it, right? He has to grab it so that way he doesn't do that. You understand? Amar Rava says, Kalpi sheletz haita v'shel chol haita. There was a kalpi of wood and it was made out of sand. And it only had for the two yadayim, for the two hands, meaning that you were only able to put your two hands inside. You couldn't do anything else. Okay, so basically, you put the two hands, you couldn't put anything else, only the two hands, and also that he had to take it quickly, so he wasn't able to see which one was which. So Matkifla Ravina comes and he asks the following question: I understand that it could only hold the two hands. So that way, he's not going to come and he's not going to take bechavana the one of Lashem. Ela shel chol, but the one of made out of like sand, right? What does that mean? Chol doesn't mean from sand. It means from out of chulin, meaning money of mundane money. Why did it have to be from mundane money? So he says, Ela shel chol, why? Nekadsha, just make it holy. In ken, if so, havale kli sharet shalet. So then it becomes a kli sharet alet. So kli sharet de'etz lo avdina. We don't make kli sharet made out of wood. Meaning all the kli sharet could not be made out of wood, and this was made out of wood. So since it was made out of wood, so therefore that's why he says that it could not be out of kodesh. It had to be from chol. It had to be mundane. Okay. So ask the Gemara, why don't you make it out of gold or silver? So answers the Gemara, Torah chasal manonan shel Yisrael. Says since you don't have to be mikadesh, right? The kalpi. So therefore it's better to make it out of wood, which is less money, in order not to take out more expenses. Meaning the Torah was chasar v'manan she'yisrael. They didn't want us to come and start spending so much money. The Torah was very, very, didn't want us to spend that much. So since it didn't want us to spend that much, right, that's why it said, right, that it didn't want to do it in such a fashion. Matnitin, so we made it out of wood instead of making it out of gold and silver. Yeah? Okay, fine. So matnitin de lo kaitana. So our Mishnah is not like this Tana. The Tanya was going to the brighter. Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'Shimon Rabbi Eliezer. Says Rabbi Yehuda name Rabbi Eliezer. Hasegan v'Kohen Gadol, the Segan, the vice Kohen Gadol and Kohen Gadol machnisin yada bekalpi, put in their hands, the right hands in the kalpi, and each one is taking them. Echad b'mino shel Kohen Gadol oleh, one of them picks up from the Kohen Gadol, and one of them is the Segan. So the Segan omer lo yishi Kohen Gadol b'michav, v'mino shel Segan oleh rosh batav omer lo leKohen Gadol daber milach, right? Speak, which means say la Hashem chatat, which means this is an interesting one. According to the first opinion, the one that we said in the Mishnah, they were both hands of the Kohen Gadol. According to the second opinion in the Braita says one hand was of Kohen Gadol and one hand was the Sgan of the Kohen Gadol. If the one of the Hashem Chatat came in the right hand of the Kohen Gadol, so the Sgan says to the Kohen Gadol, pick up your right hand. But if it was in the hand of the Sgan, so then the Rosh Bet Av tells the Sgan, tells the Kohen Gadol, speak. Right? And then he's going to say Hashem Chatat, and then the other one picks up his hand. So it's a difference. Who's the one that's, so says the Gemara, why doesn't the Sgan tell the Kohen Gadol the Bemilach? So he says, no, but since it didn't go into his hands, right? So then he becomes like upset, meaning that imagine right now, this is like the big show of the Kohen Gadol. You understand? And now the Kohen Gadol wants to come, picks up, and it comes in the wrong hand. So Kilu, it shows like a bad sign for the Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol is going to start thinking to himself, listen, I'm not worthy. You understand? Like Chalshadate. You understand? No, imagine right now a person wants to do something and it doesn't work out. It makes him feel bad. You understand? The Kohen Gadol, he wants that it should come out on his right hand. And now whose hand did it come out? In the Sgan's hand. So he feels bad, like he feels that he wasn't accepted to Hashem. So that's why it's Chalashtate. So b'may kami pageh. What is the machloket? More savar yamina the Sgan adim mitzvah the Kohen Gadol. One of them holds that the right hand of the Sgan is better than the left hand of the Kohen Gadol. More savar ki adad the other one holds the same thing. So again, one more time. Our Mishnah was both hands of Kohen Gadol, right and left. The Braita was the right hand of the Kohen Gadol, right hand of the Sgan. And they pick it up. And then it depends which one does it go into, right? So basically the machlok between them is, do you say that the left hand of the Kohen Gadol is better than the right hand of the Sgan? Or do you say that they're both the same? And that's the machlok between them. Okay? So who is the Tana that argues on Rabbi Yehuda? So Chanina is Sgan Kohanim. The Tana was learned to the Braita. Rabbi Chanina ben Sgan Kohanim. Lama Sgan. Why is it the Sgan who's on the right side? Shemira bo psul beKohen Gadol. But if there's a psul in the Kohen Gadol, nichnas Sagan mashmesh tachtav. Remember that the Sagan is the right hand man. So therefore, if something happens to the Kohen Gadol, the Sagan becomes the Kohen Gadol. So that's why he's going to be on the right side. Okay. So he says, right, but remember that it's nothing to do with the Sgan, meaning the Sgan does nothing. It's just in case, meaning in case something happens, so you have this Sgan that is going to become like the Kohen Gadol. Okay, that's what you need. You need like a substitute, just in case something would happen, which makes sense at the end of the day. No, you always have somebody like in place, like, second, if the main chef, whatever, something happens, you always have like a replacement. You have something there that they know how to quickly, the second in command. Exactly. Okay. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita. 40 shana shimesh Shimon HaTzadik. Do you know that 40 years Shimon HaTzadik, this is in Pirkei Avot, Shimon HaTzadik haya mishirei knesset hagedolah hu haya omer. Yeah? So Shimon HaTzadik was 40 years, right? 40 years the Kohen Gadol. Haya goral olem yamin. Always the goral went in his right hand. Meaning Shimon HaTzadik was such a tzaddik, every single year for 40 years, the goral to Hashem came on his right hand. Mikam va'elach, but after that, it came sometimes in the right, sometimes in the left. Haya leshon shel zeorit malbin. During his entire time, it always became whitened, meaning they had the red string, and the red string always became whitened because HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgave their sins. Mikam va'elach, afterwards, sometimes yes, sometimes no. It was always, the Ner Ma'aravi was always lit. It never turned off, the western candle in the menorah. It was always lit. Mikam va'elach, after the period of Shimon HaTzadik, sometimes it would be lit and sometimes it would turn off. Right, it was the fire of the Maracha. Mitgaber used to come and always be very strong the entire day. The Kohanim did not need to bring any type of wood. Imagine, Kohanim did not need to bring any wood. Yeah, the Maracha, except for the Shnei Gezirei Etzim, to be Mekayim the Mitzvah, it's a Shnei Gezirei Etzim. Mikam va'elach, after the 40 years, sometimes it would be strong the entire day, sometimes not. They had to bring wood the entire day. Meaning, it was such miracles that used to happen during the time of Shimon HaTzadik, they never needed to bring new wood. Think about it, the exact same wood that they used yesterday, the next day, next day, next day, next day. What did they only bring? Shnei Gezirei Etzim, the 2 little pieces of wood. That's all that they brought. Every single day. 2 little pieces of wood, but that's a mitzvah, the Shnei Gezirei Etzim. The wood was always the same. They never had to bring new wood. The second he passed away, again, they had to bring wood every single day. All the time they had to bring wood. Because if not, they would just turn off. Right? All the time that he was the Kohen Gadol, there was bracha in the Korban HaOmer, the Shtei HaLechem, Lechem HaPanim, V'chol Kohen shemagia kazait, any Kohen that had a kazait of the menachot, yesh ochlo v'saveav, yesh ochlo matir. Many times he used to eat it to be satiated, and sometimes he used to eat it and have leftovers. Mikam va'elach, but after that, there was a me'era, there was a klala, there was a maldition, right? There was a curse. Ba'omer and the Shtei HaLechem, Lechem HaPanim, any Kohen that had kipol, like a little tiny bean, at Tznuim moshchim et yedehem. So the ones that were Tznuim, right? I just mentioned this to a Kohen this past Shavuot, right? The Tznuim moshchim et yedehem. What does that mean? The Kohanim at Tzadikim, they would not take at all. Why? Because since they knew that it wouldn't be masbia, it wouldn't satiate, So why would they go running and start grabbing? But the gargarin, the ones which are raftanim, they're very hungry, right? The gluttons, right? The gluton, yeah? They come and they run and they grab and they eat. So there was a person who was a Kohen that he took his own portion and his friend's portion. So they called him Ben Chamzan, Ben Agazlan, Ad Yom Moto, until he died. The robber, the son of the robber, until he died. Yeah, Lamitet Amud 39b. Okay? So imagine. The son of the robber, but he stole his portion and his friend's portion. Meaning, right, his friend's portion, remember, there were Kohanim there, correct? So the Tznuim, the ones which are Tznuim, which means Tzadikim, they would not go. Because imagine, you know what it is? Everyone, they come, they I'll attack, and they all go running and charging, and, the famous joke, yeah, about with the lights off, no? You know the famous joke. Frenchies, right? They're always very, polite. Even pizza with a knife and fork. Like very French fries with fork. Like nothing with a very, yeah. So what happened? They were once at a big party, and everyone's just looking at the food and they're savoring the food, but everyone's embarrassed. Well, you're going to go and you're going to start eating from the food. Shoma, you're going to start that. What happened? All of a sudden there was a blackout. Yeah, and all of a sudden you hear screaming like crazy. Right? And all of a sudden, they turned on the lights. What happened was, once the lights turned off, everyone ran for the food. You had people with forks in people's hands. They were going mad. They were going crazy. But why? When the lights are off, that's when the real people come out. You understand? It was done purposely. They purposely did that. But it was ki'ilu, just to show. You turn off the lights, boom, that's it. The real guys come out. Yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah, try it once. You'll see it. All of a sudden, the etiquette, the manners disappear in 2 seconds. Nobody could see. Ooh, everyone's just running. Okay? Fine. So it says over here like this. Yeah, Amar Rabba Bar Shila. Says over Bar Shila. Maikra, what is a pasuk? It says Elohai paleteni miyad rasha mikaf me'avel vechometz. He says, my God, save me from the hands of a rasha, from the hands of a gazlan. Rabba says from the pasuk, Limdu etev dirshu mishpat, right? Asheru chamotz, which means, right, go help. Right, learn from your friend, and then help the person that's being stolen from. Okay, ashru chamutz, ashru chometz. Right, help the one that's being stolen from, but don't help the stealer. Okay, again, we're continuing with Shimon HaTzadik. Remember, he was a very, very big tzaddik. Yeah, Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in a Braita. Ota shana shemet ba Shimon HaTzadik. Amar lahem, that year, right, that Shimon HaTzadik, right, he passed away. B'shana zo hu met. He already knew after Kippur, right. Amar lahem, he told them he's going to die. Meaning he already knew he was going to die. Yeah, Amrulo, they said, Minayin ta yodea. How do you know? Amar lahem, he says, Bechol Yom Kippurim, every single Kippur, when he used to go into the Kodesh Kodashim, are you listening? I am. Écoute-moi. Yeah, every single year when he used to go into the Kodesh Kodashim, Hayam mizdamen lo lizaken echad lavush levanim ve'atuf levanim. He used to come and see someone that was a very elderly person that was always dressed in white, beautiful white clothing, right? He used to come in with me, he used to come out with me. He says, today I was with someone that he was all dressed in black. He came in with me to the Kodesh HaKodashim, but he didn't come out with me. So he already knew he was going to die that year. After Chag HaSukkot, Chala Shivat Yamim, he became sick for 7 days, and he passed away. And they didn't want to make the Birkat Kohanim, right, with the name of Hashem, Yud Ke Vav Ke, right, the way that it's written, because they weren't fitting for it. Okay, so imagine, Mamash, think about it, 40 years. You know what it is, 40 years that he was the Kohen Gadol, all these miracles happening, everything, Shimon HaTzadik, he was called Shimon HaTzadik. Okay? Then it says, we learned in the Braita, do you know that the 40 years before the destruction of the second Beit HaMikdash, the Goral never came out on the right hand? And he was the exact opposite. By Shimon HaTzadik, it always came out on the right hand. 40 years before the destruction of Beit HaMikdash, it never came out on the right hand. Every single year, it came out on the left hand. Meaning the Azazel came out on the right hand. The Lashem came out on the left hand. Yeah? Because it's always good that the right hand, which is Midat HaRachamim, comes Lashem. Yeah. And the left hand, which is Midat HaDin, should be La'azazel. Right? If you switch it, it's not good. It's not a good sign. So because of that, during Shimon HaTzadik, all the 40 years that he was a Kohen Gadol, it always came up on his right hand. always, no matter what. And during the 40 years before the destruction of Bet HaMikdash, it always came up on the left hand, no matter what. Always came up on the left hand. So it wasn't a good sign. Yeah? So it says, Velo haya lashon shel zorit malbin. The lashon shel zorit, this red string, remember that the red string, they tied half of it onto the head of the rosh of the Seyyid Azazel, and half of it was in the Bet HaMikdash. And then when they used to throw it off the cliff, the one in the Bet HaMikdash turned white. It says here, the last 40 years, it never turned white. That means he never forgave them for the sins. Velo haya ner ma'aravi dolek. It never stayed on. The ner ma'aravi, which is supposed to be the constant light, never stayed on for the last 40 years. It always used to turn off. That means all the miracles that we had during the time of Shimon Tzaddik, everything was the opposite. Hayud daltot ha'echal niftacho me'alein. Do you know that the doors of the Echal used to open up on their own? You know, these are heavy doors. You understand? They're very heavy doors. The doors used to open up on their own. As if saying, come in and destroy it. Ad shegabayin Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, until Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai had to scream at them once. Amar lo echal echal mipnei ma at mavit atzmecha. What are you making yourself afraid? Yodeh ani becha shetzorchati licharev. I know that you're going to be destroyed. Ukvar nitnaveh alecha Zechariah ben Iddo. And you already have the prophecy of Zechariah ben Avido. Petach levanon delatecha v'tochal eshver azecha. It's written, open up your doors and the fire will come and consume you. But he was guarded by him. He screamed at them. Right? But why? Because he already knew they were going to be destroyed. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak ben Tavlai, it says Yitzchak ben Tavlai, Lama nikra shemo, why was it called the name of the Bet HaMikdash Lebanon? Right? The name of the Bet HaMikdash was called Lebanon. Lebanon. Right? That was the name of the Bet HaMikdash. Why was it called Lebanon? Shemalbin avonoten shel Yisrael, because it makes the sins of Israel white. Yeah? It's the Clorox. Yeah? It's the bleach that cleanses us. Amar Rav Zutra bar Tuvia, says Rav Zutra bar Tuvia, Lama nikra shemo Ya'ar. Why is the Bet HaMikdash called Ya'ar? That's called the forest. Why is it called the forest? Tichtiv Bait Ya'ar Lebanon. Just like it comes out and it makes the beautiful fruit, flowers, right? So too the Bet HaMikdash is milavlev. It makes beautiful flowers. He actually planted different wood and things like that are gold. They always used to come out with beautiful fruits. Once the wind used to blow, the fruits used to fall. That's where the Kohanim had parnasah. The Kohanim used to sell these fruits of like the mamash, they were like golden fruits. That's where they used to make their parnasah. The second of the goyim came into the Echal, they dried up. There's no more fruits. Shneimar, as it says in a pasuk, Uferach Levanon umlal v'atid HaKadosh Baruch Hu lachzira, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give it back to us. Shneimar, right? Paruach tifrach tegelav kila v'lanin kavod Levanon nitan la. Okay? Nekuda. 2 dots. Netanan and Shnei Seirim. So remember that they put the 2 goralot on the 2 different Seirim. There were 2 he-goats, the one for Hashem and the one for the Azazel. So it says, we learned in the Braita, Eser Pa'amim Mizkir Kohen Gadol et Hashem. Right? Bo Bayom, right? It was 10 times there was, he mentioned the name of Hashem on Kippur. Shlosha bevidui rishon, 3 times in the first vidui. Shlosha bevidui sheni, 3 in this next one. Shlosha bevidui v'sim shlech, 3 in the one, and 1 in the goralot. So therefore, he used to say the name of Hashem 10 times on Kippur. Remember, there's 10 viduis. There's 5 tevilot and 10 kiddush yadayim raglayim. And there's 10 times that he mentions the name of Hashem. We're talking about the real name of Hashem, yeah, not just Tam Hashem. Okay. The second that the Kohen Gadol used to say Ana Hashem, they used to hear his voice in Yericho, in Jericho. Far away, yeah? They would be able to hear his voice from the Bet HaMikdash. Okay? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, Yerushalayim Yericho is 10 parsaot. It's 10 parsaot. Just to understand, every parsa is 4 mil. Every mil is around a kilometer. So if it's 40 kilometers. Pamal, no? Okay. Now you could hear, when they used to open up the doors of the Echal, you could hear it for 8 tchums of Shabbat, which is basically 16,000 amot. Because remember, tchum Shabbat is 2,000 amot, so 16,000 amot. Every amah is 48 centimeters. $16,000 amot divided by 0.48 centimeters equals 33,333 meters.
It's 30 kilometers.
33 kilometers. Okay? Izim shebiricho, the goats.
That's from here to Fort Lauderdale to the airport.
Yeah. Izim shebiricho, the goats in Yericho, hayumi tachot merech ketoret. They used to sneeze because of the smell of the ketoret. Meaning the incense which is inside of the echal, they used to come and they used to sneeze because of it. Nashim shebiricho, the women in Yericho, inat zichol basem, they never needed perfume because they had the reach ketoret. They didn't need perfume. Yeah? Kalash Yerushalayim nitzach likashet. She never needed also a kala in Yerushalayim because of the reach ketoret. Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Diglai, Izim ayu lehava bahar be'arei michvar. You used to sneeze because of the reach ketoret, right? The reach of the ketoret. Amar Rabbi Barav ben Yeshua ben Kocha, sach li zakenecha pam achat halachti Shiloh. I went to Shiloh. Ve'rachti reach ketoret b'men kotlei, and I actually smelled the reach of the ketoret in between the walls, right? So he was in Shiloh. Here it says that it's between 38.4 and 47.5 kilometers. Yeah, we're talking about a very long distance. Yeah? Amar Rabbi Yanai, says Rabbi Yanai, Aliyat Koral mitoch kalpi. He says when they used to do the goral with the kalpi me'akevet, it would be me'akev the Yehudah Yom Kippurim. Hanacha, but putting it on was not me'akevet. Meaning, making the goralot, right, meaning choosing which one was which, that was me'akev. You had to do that in Kippur. It had to be done. It could not just say, this one's for Lashem, this one's, you had to do a kalpi. You had to do a lottery. But the anacha, but placing it on each one, that's not me'akev. Rabbi Yochanan says even the aliyah is not me'akev, which means even the fact that the goralot come out, that means basically if you just said with your mouth, this one's this, this one's this, it's okay, with the avad, according to Shittat Rabbi Yochanan. Aliyah Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda Damar, that he says, the things which are going to be done in Bigdei Lavan are not me'akev. Right? Remember, the ones which are done in Bigdei Lavan, or the things which are done, right, in the white clothing is not going to be me'akev. For sure, it's not going to be me'akev. Ki plige, right? So he says, when is the machloket? Right? Ki plige, when is there a machloket? Liba de Nechemia, according to Nechemia. Mandamar me'akva, according to Mandamar, that's going to be me'akev. It's like holds like Rabbi Nechemia. Mandamar lo me'akva, but according to Mandamar that says it's not going to be me'akev. Hanamit le zavodah. Hagrala, that's only when it's going to be an avodah. But hagrala is not an avodah, which means that actual making lotteries, that's not considered an avodah. There are those that say aliba de Rabbi Nechemia de Amar me'akva. According to the Mandamar that says in Nechemia that it's going to be me'akev. Everybody holds that it's going to be right. Nobody argues that that it's going to be me'akev. One is a machlok according to Rabbi Yehuda, right? Mandamar lo me'akva. According to one that says that it's not going to be me'akev, that means putting up the lottery. That's going to be like Rabbi Yehuda. And according to the one that says it's me'akev, shanach, it's different over there, but it's written in there asher Allah twice, which means that even though it's not written chukah on the agrala, nevertheless it's going to be me'akev. Why? Because it's a klal in kodshim that anytime when it's repeated twice, it's me'akev. Meaning, if I come and I tell you do this, if I said it once, maybe it doesn't impede the avad. But if I tell you twice, do this, it impedes because I said it twice. Meaning, anytime that it's written twice, the same command, so for sure it's going to impede. We're almost done. Meitve, we're going to ask the question. Mitzvah la'agril. If you no agree, there's a mitzvah to do the agrala. Now, if you didn't do the agrala, it's going to be kosher. You're going to say it's according to Rabbi Yehuda, that it's not going to be me'akev, so then it's going to be Rabbi Yehuda. Okay? Ela lahachnisha mem amudalef on the top, but according to the hachnisha the Marta, he's going to say pliga that there is a machloket. Bishman man lo me'akva. It's good according to the man that says it's not going to be me'akev. Right? Hamani, who is this? It's Rabbi Yehuda. But according to the man that says me'akev, who is it? Hamani. So he says tani mitzvah laniach. It's going to be a mitzvah to leave it over, which means that it's it's like that if you didn't leave it over, it's still going to be kosher, but it's a mitzvah to do the agrala. Remember that. It's always going to be the mitzvah to do the lottery. Okay? And we continue tomorrow with Hashem.